Okay, so I will be reviewing the Rak Half Marathon and reacting to certain parts of this race. And you will figure out why I'm doing this very shortly. So here we are at the start of the race. It's a mass start and the field is relatively quite young, but there are some noticeable names, especially now many years later. The mainly Kenyan and Ethiopian field, but still quite a vast, very good international field here. Now, to give it some context, both in the men's and the women's, there is a $50,000 prize for the winner. And that will become apparent why that information is important as we go on with this race. The Rak Half Marathon course is very flat. There's also very few turns, and where there are turns, these are very sweeping, therefore making them very quick turns. As a result, they're not necessarily that energy draining, meaning that this course is particularly quick. They start the race, nothing really out of the ordinary, big mass start, quite quick from the beginning. All the athletes are trying to get, or especially the elite runners at the very start of the race, they're all trying to get in the race, trying to get used to the running pattern and the race itself, trying to react to one another. So then we have the men's elite race starts first, and then the women's elite race comes in together. And as you can see, they're big clumping out, and the front runners are further behind, so they have further more to sprint. But here we go, we got some, who is this guy? Like, okay, there's always, as always, there is always one person, and maybe he's trying to make a name for himself by trying to get out, but he's clearly not one of the elite runners. So who is this person in the lead by so much? Okay, this is ridiculous now. He's doing world record pace, this guy, and he's got so far ahead, it's first 20 minutes or so. This is going to be difficult for this person to, first 10 minutes or so, it's going to be difficult for this person to keep that pace. It's not very, it's either he's stupid or it's naive to run out like that, so far ahead against the pack. Now if he wants a quick time, he has to keep that pack. He has to drop back, and that's going to be particularly difficult for him to do this. Generally, unlike cycling or other events, once you can, because it's a gliding event in cycling, you can go out in the air and then you can ease back in and use less energy. The problem is with athletics. Once you go out and make a strike, as they call it in the road running, or you go out and make an attack, and you go out so far into the lead, it's difficult then to come back because you're still having to utilise all your energy, and it's wasting your energy to do that. It's very hard to go attack, come back, attack, come back, attack, come back. And it can be quite physically draining to do that. So generally when most people go out, they go out, and then if they got nothing left, it's hard to come back in. Especially as the pack can run off each other, they're more air resistant, they're utilising less energy as a body in itself compared to that one lone runner. And then they can also utilise that lone runner as a hare to catch up to. So what the main elite runners do, are just utilising that one runner, and then eventually they will just chase him down. That one runner has effectively run themselves out of the race. So here comes the patrol car, one of the cars of the event organiser. They come over to him, and apparently when I read up to this, the race organiser asked the individual, "What are you doing?" And he merely looked at him and replied, "I'm here to win the race." Well, he needs to drop back if he needs to win the race, because he's just going to run himself out of it. I mean, he's made it very difficult for himself now as it is. But yet again, he might be a very new runner, so therefore it's very naive for him. When people start long distance running, they think they have to get out into the lead and win it, and that way they'll win it. No, you have to be with the pack to stand a chance of winning it. Otherwise, in this person's case, he's gone out too quick. And as we can see from the elite runners here, they're very energy efficient as they run. He, on the other hand, isn't. As you can see, he's dropping back through the crowd now. They're coming in, they're overtaking him very slowly. And he's just moving in through that pack. He's been chased down, and he's been in reality, being run out this race now. And it seems almost unceremoniously. They're just running through. They caught him up, and he's just been eaten and swallowed by the pack because he ran too quickly. And and wasn't able to hold that for that long. But the fact that he's managed to hold it for so long in that race is actually quite impressive. And now we start to get the real attack from the actual athletes who actually probably do stand a better chance now, because the fun runner has effectively run himself out the race. So as he's so far in the lead, we might as well observe and analyse this individual's technique. And as we can see, compared to the main runners, he's he's actually quite efficient on his feet, but there's no real good leg stride. He's having to put a lot more energy per stride than the guys behind him. That's probably one of the reasons why they're able to overtake him so easily later on. That and they are elite athletes. It's very forefoot, back foot dominated underneath, rather than when you look at the elite runners, they've got that big long stride, and ahead of them there's almost like a slight angle, if you like, even though they're back straight. They almost almost like a slight angle as when they run, because that's because they're more energy efficient. They're utilising those long strides to their advantage. This individual is putting their foot down underneath them and coming up, but not utilising the full stride length. His arms are okay. They're across slightly in front of the body, not too much pushing forward. But this guy's not he's doing more. He's not particularly that efficient when he runs.
After this athlete's 5 or 6 minutes in the lead, he was swallowed up, and the real race began with a breakaway from the number 4 here, as shown. That athlete who tried to get a bit of fame at the beginning, he came 68th overall and ran a time of 1 hour 27 minutes, which isn't that particularly slow. Now, I don't know his status, whether he was a runner itself or whether he wasn't a runner and decided to do this race for the money, but likewise, he entered the race, he tried to do his best and he tried to win it. However, he clearly wasn't at the standard. 1 hour 27 minutes for a half marathon isn't that bad. He's not particularly elite, but certainly isn't bad at all. Likewise, he could have potentially improved his chances if he actually stayed with the elite pack. Okay, I don't think he would have stayed with them for very long, but he would have gave himself more of a chance. This really is gives you a hindsight of how to actually run distance races. Quite often people who go into the lead from the very beginning, especially if they're elite athletes, are sometimes running scared, and therefore they just run out into the lead into the very beginning, or they run naively. They don't know how to run the race because they haven't been shown. And when you think about it, oh, I want to win, and especially when you look at training kids, they want to win and be in the front all the time. They race each other to get to the front, to get to the front, get to the front. The smartest thing to do is get to the pack and then get to the front only by the finish line. Nonetheless, it shows that if you train or do hard or do well, you can potentially reach these standards if you've got the talent and the experience. I'm Adam McCarthy of SSA Athletics. I hope you enjoyed this video, and as always, I will see you in the next one. Bye!